What makes a country a country? Most countries cover a contiguous territory, that is, a territory where all the land is connected, and some are mostly contiguous with a few islands on the side. Some other countries are archipelagos, groups of islands that are close to one another. But what about countries that have territories that are separated considerable distances from each other? How stable are such configurations? Well, it depends heavily on the demographic distribution of the territories in question. There have been cases where split territory countries have been successful, and cases where they ended in disaster. It can be hard to keep a country together when the bulk of the country lives in one place and a sizable chunk lives somewhere else. The distance between the different parts of the country can easily lead to differences and eventually separatism, and the distance between the territories can make it difficult for any one power to send forces to stop uprisings and rebellions. For example, when British India was partitioned after World War II into a Hindu-majority India and a Muslim-majority Pakistan, the newly created Pakistan was composed of two territories, West Pakistan, which is the Pakistan we know today, and East Pakistan, which is now known as Bangladesh. The two halves of the newly created Pakistan may have been united by a common religion in Islam, but there were numerous differences between the two of them. The two Pakistans spoke different languages and had different customs. Of course, that's true of many states composed of many different ethnicities, like India and Iran, yet those states managed to stay together. Why then did Pakistan break apart? When what is today Bangladesh decided to revolt against Pakistan's rule, Pakistan found it very hard to send troops to stop the rebellion. After all, there were hundreds of miles of India standing in their way. They would have had to send troops around India to get the job done. In the end, Bangladesh managed to win independence from Pakistan and keep it that way. Indonesia, a country that consists of thousands of islands with many different languages and ethnic groups, may be holding together so far, but who knows for how much longer? The Indonesian government has had to deal with independence movements across its vastly spread out territories, like Aceh in Sumatra and New Guinea. Indonesia managed to invade and hold on to the former Portuguese colony of East Timor for a while, but in 2002, East Timor managed to regain its independence. Aceh's independence movement has been stymied ever since the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami killed over 100,000 people in that region. But the independence movement in New Guinea is still going strong, with frequent protests and outbursts of violence. There are plenty other examples of unstable states trying and failing to hold territories separated by great distances. Almost all of the great European powers during the age of imperialism fall into this category. Spain, Portugal, Britain, France, all of these countries conquered and ruled over vast territories, several times the size of their European possessions. Spain's land stretched from California to the tip of Chile, while the United Kingdom at its height controlled territories all over the world, including its crown jewel, India. Over time, though, all of these powers eventually lost their territories. When states such as these are strong, they have no problem keeping a hold on their far-flung territories, but during moments of weakness, they tend to lose control over their possessions. Of course, there are states that are controlling far-away territories separated by hundreds or thousands of miles today. The United States has Alaska, Hawaii, and an assortment of islands all over the world. France and Britain have a smattering of islands and territories as well. Are such situations stable? Well, for one thing, unlike the situations with Pakistan controlling Bangladesh or Spain controlling Mexico, America's, Britain's, and France's far-flung territories have populations many times smaller than their core territories. Let's also not forget that these three countries are still doing well for themselves. America is the world's foremost superpower, and while Britain and France are nowhere near what they once were, they aren't doing all that bad either. Who knows what will happen to their far-flung territories if the political situation changes? Far from the British mainland are a few small islands called the Falklands. The islands are located in the South Atlantic Ocean, much closer to Argentina than to Britain. The population is mostly descended from British settlers, however. Being so far away, the Falklands might seem a likely candidate to break free from its motherland, like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand did. But the Falklands only have around 3,000 people, and they are much more afraid of its neighbor Argentina than Britain. So when Argentina invaded in the 80s, the British military were praised by the Falklanders as heroes instead of invaders. A combination of having a small population and needing protection from a greater threat has kept the Falklands satisfied with being a part of Britain. France also has a territory in South America called French Guiana, with a population of around 300,000 people, much greater than the Falklands. French Guiana seems like a good candidate for an independence movement one day. For now, though, the French government has managed to keep the population satisfied with economic incentives and the ability to get an EU passport despite being located thousands of miles away from Europe. It remains to be seen how much longer France can keep this up, though. However, since the strength of a central power rises and falls over time, faraway territories may take advantage of a downturn in its motherland's fortunes to declare independence. So it seems that in the long run, split countries are just not a stable arrangement. So that's it for this video. If you liked it and want to watch more, be sure to click like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.